Joined now by Jacksonville Jaguars Senior Vice President of Sales and Service, Chad Johnson. Of course, the Jaguars have been working from home for the last 6 weeks or so. And now the news on Monday about 2 more home games. There will be no international games, says the NFL. Chad, I hope you and your family are doing well. And what's the reaction and how busy have you guys been now that there will be 2 more games here in Jacksonville this fall?
Yeah, well, obviously that was big news this morning. We've been working hard since we started our work from home routine, connecting with our fans, talking with them, understanding how they're feeling. Today, I'm sure you can imagine the phones are ringing. Our staff is still able to execute on picking up those calls. And, our goal from day one is pack TIAA Bank Field for every home game, make sure it's a home field advantage for our team. And today we learned we have 2 more opportunities to do that.
You guys have been obviously working the renewal process, but you also extended that a couple of times. And most recently today, you extended it into June. How has that gone? And how were the renewals going up until this point anyway?
Well, we had our first deadline at the end of March, and we were pacing very well. But as we know, deadlines are really where you see the uptick in everything. And we made the decision when this COVID outbreak happened to postpone it to the late April timeframe and really give us a chance to see really what was happening. We learned then that we needed to do a little bit more. Just postponing a deadline or deferring a payment wasn't enough. We heard a lot about teams that what they weren't doing, but we didn't hear a lot about what we are going to do for our fans. So we worked hard over the last few weeks and months to put together a plan that we think really gives our fans options. It really allows them the time of uncertainty to maybe have to not think about something as much as they would. And we're excited to roll out this new plan.
Chad Johnson with us from the Jacksonville Jaguars. How important was it, and I think there's an important word in there, I think for fans, at least I think so, is refund rather than credit. And you guys are offering that opportunity based on what happens from here with the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, we started to see leading into the draft and coming out as well, a lot of optimism, a lot of increased volume of transactions with our members. But one thing we know is there's still some uncertainty. And we wanted to make sure that we could erase that as a concern for them. So you have up until the start of the regular season to cancel your season tickets, receive a full refund so that that's not a concern if something changes. Yet at the same point, we've come up with some very friendly payment terms that allows you to extend that runway a long time. So we think we've really taken their concerns to heart and developed a plan that will work for them.
I guess the number one question I've been getting asked the last few hours is, well, which 2 games were additional? Is that something we wouldn't have found out until Thursday when the NFL schedule happens? Have you guys already targeted a couple of games that are kind of the bonus games, if you will, here in Jacksonville?
No, we were waiting for the schedule release just like everyone else to understand who our opponents will be and when, and that's an exciting time for everyone. So we'll learn that makeup from what I understand later this week. But what we know is our fans will have a 10-game slate in Jacksonville, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure it's an awesome atmosphere and home field advantage.
Well, do you think, though, the NFL will let you know what games, those were going to be, and it will be those games, or will you have will season ticket members be able to select those bonus games? Do we know anything how that process will work?
Yeah, so they will be able to select the 2 additional games. For those that have already renewed their 8-game package, we will have an additional 2 games. It won't be team specific because, like we mentioned, we don't have the schedule in advance of this news, but they'll be able to add 2 more opponents to their 8-game package if they choose.
This is all so new. How much do you guys even know what happens to these games in London, the commitment in London? Do we know if there are any dollars that the Jags are going to have to pay to Wembley Stadium, or will this just roll over into future years? Do you guys even know any of that stuff yet?
Yeah, really nothing about next year has been discussed and decided upon. So what we've done is take the news that these 2 games are coming back for the 2020 season, rolled our sleeves up and get to work to make sure that those are full. And then we'll adjust with whatever news happens as we find out.
You guys have people that are working in London, staff to some degree. Will you continue that even now, knowing that there won't be games, but you're going to continue business as usual to continue the footprint over there in London?
Well, we've worked very hard over the last 7-8 years, as you know, to develop our fan base there and really work hard in the community. This was new news to us today. So we're getting our mind around it, figuring out how to first execute here in Jacksonville and second respond in London. So it's too early to answer that.
It's probably too early to answer this too, but have you felt any reaction instantaneously to the added couple of games, the idea that you're not playing in London? Have the phones rang a bunch today asking questions like I'm asking you, or saying, hey, I'm in, I want season tickets?
Yeah, I can tell you this from our staff reaction, there's a lot of volume today, high traffic volume, and mostly it's questions. What does this mean for the games coming back? What is happening now with this new football flex plan and the options I have? So it's going to take some time to educate, I think. And that's why we have such a large and diligent staff, that we can reach out one-to-one and educate you on your options, explain what this means, and why we push the deadline back to June 5th to give everyone time to digest the information, the schedule, and all of that.
Jacksonville, the city of Jacksonville, the state of Florida, kind of reopening, if you will, this week to some degree. There's so many things we can't predict down the road. How much are you guys working on contingency plans in terms of no fans, some fans, how you're going to do that from a social distancing, wherever this thing might be in September, when hopefully the games start?
Well, when this happened mid-March, right away we started reaching out to fans to understand what they were thinking, feeling. Number two, we started building some contingencies like this flex plan right away. We wouldn't be doing our job if we weren't prepared for every scenario. And I think this is a good example. You saw this announcement today of the games. We were nimble and able to execute our strategy right off the heels of that. So we've been preparing for a lot of different scenarios along the lines, and we'll continue to do so until we're all watching games at TIAA Bank Field.
We've talked to like college coaches. I even talked to Tom Islinski, strength and conditioning coach over there at the Jacksonville Jaguars over the weekend, about how much time do you need to get the football team ready to play games? Well, how about from the business side? How much time do you guys think you'll need to know, okay, we got to put some of these things into place before the season starts? We have to educate our fans. We have to share the messaging. Will there be a deadline, do you think, for you guys on the business side to know exactly how the NFL will treat the season?
Well, I'm sure there'll be some consistency across all clubs, as we've seen from a security standpoint with the NFL. We've always been at the forefront of fan safety and security. From a business standpoint, we've been nimble and working probably harder over the last 7-8 weeks than we anticipated to really be prepared for all of those scenarios. So there's all those conversations taking place, all the planning taking place. So I feel like we're in a great position to move forward today. And if things change tomorrow, I think we're still in a great position to be able to adjust and move forward again.
Let me finish up with this one. Lot J is on everybody's mind, and we wonder when shovels will go to the ground. We think this could delay some of that. I think Mark Lamping talked about it in the last month or so. Is there some flexibility with what you, or how much is that part of what you guys are planning, that, hey, we could have shovels in the ground somewhere along the way, and we've got a full slate of games to prepare for as well? Because in the past, I mean, there might be one home game in 6 or 7 week span around Florida, Georgia, and obviously the London games.
Yeah, Lot J has been a big part of our project and our forward thinking for a number of years. We still are looking forward and excited to moving forward on that, and anticipate the project will continue to move forward. So whether those 2 games coming back has any impact, I don't foresee that being the case. I think they're independent of each other. But I know that we're as excited as we've ever been, if not more, to continue to move that project along, get Jacksonville reopened again, get a lot of positive momentum going, and that's what we can focus on.
Lastly, what is the best way to tell fans, say, hey, if you have questions, call, check out Jaguars.com. What's the best way to spread the message you guys are trying to share about season tickets and this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think the best way, as I mentioned, is we really want to take the time to talk through and educate our fans. So I encourage them to call 904-633-2000. That's our general ticket line, but it is ringing to all of our reps' homes where they are remotely working, and they're excited. And you know what we found? People are just happy to talk about football again. They're happy to talk about some things they're passionate about and getting back. We saw that with the draft, and our staff is just as happy talking football with their fans as they are talking with us.
Hey, we're excited to be talking some football with you as well. And by the way, good luck on the new addition to the
Thank you very much,
next little bit.
Exciting times.
All right. Thanks, Chad Johnson from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, Brent. Bye-bye.
Action Sports Jax Primetime.
Saturday at 10:30 on Fox 30.